which we know in advance. Okay, so we want to understand the connection between Pinchas and the Friedrich Rebbe, and what we've concluded with right now is that both the previous Rebbe's names are associated with Pinchas. Yosef because he was an ancestor of Pinchas, and Yitzchak because it's numerically equivalent to the word Pinchas. We made a distinction yesterday between these two names of Yosef and Yitzchak, and we said that Yosef is numerically equivalent to the name Ban times 3, and Yitzchak is equivalent to the name Ban times 4. What's the meaning of 3 and 4 in Yiddishkeit? So the letters Gimel and Dalet are associated with giving and receiving. Gimel is about giving, and Dalet is about receiving. That's because the word Gimel means goimel, to bestow, and Dalet is associated with the word poverty, which is the recipient of of whatever is being given. So in every individual as well, there is a Gimel element and there's a Dalet element. The Gimel element is when you're preparing to do something, and Dalet is when you actually go out and do it. So Gimel is about the various components within yourself as you're preparing to do something, and Dalet is when you actually go out and move. You just think about something, you have a feeling for something, you resolve to do something. That's all the Gimel. Those 3 components are all Gimel. When you actually go out and do it, that's the Dalet. So that also explains the connection between the numbers Gimel and Dalet to their various kinds of divine energy. Every divine energy is generally divided in 3 parts, and the actual impact is a 4th element. Like look at the worlds, the 4 worlds. There's Atzilus, Bria, Yitzir, those are 3 worlds, and then there's impact. Impact is the 4th world, this world. So too in Sfiras, Gimel is associated with the Sfira of Yesod. What's Yesod? Yesod is a Sfira of bonding. What is bonding about? You had the intellect, you had the feelings, and now you actually connect to where you're going. And then there's the actual impact, which is Malchus. Malchus is called the 4th leg of God's chariot. So that is what actually influences the world. That's Malchus. But before you get to Malchus, you have the 3-pronged, if you will, energy of the letter Gimel, which is about how there's a decision, there's a feeling, there's a resolve, and then it goes forward into Dalet. And similarly, the 2 concepts that are alluded to by the name Yosef and Yitzchak, which are specifically in this order, the first name of the Friedrich Rebbe is Yosef, and then the name Yitzchak, they also are parallel to this kind of divine flow. Yosef is the sphere of Yesod. It's known in general that Yosef is associated with Yesod, and that's about preparation for whatever divine flow is going to happen. And then there is Yitzchak. Yitzchak is about the recipient, about actually giving over the divine flow. That's the Dalet. So in our lives, Yosef is about preparing to do something. Yitzchak is about actually getting it done. In the story of our acceptance to the Torah Mount Sinai, we also had 2 components. We had Nase and Nishma. Nase means we will do, Nishma means we'll understand. Which one is Gimel, which one's Dalet? Nase is Dalet, and Nishma is Gimel. Nishma means we'll understand, and we'll feel, and we'll appreciate. Actually, the previous Rebbe said at the beginning of the Torah, the Hasidim didn't just say we will do, they said we will do, and we will derher. We will have a feeling for what we're doing. So in order to have that feeling, there's a step before. We understand it, and you appreciate it. But we told Hashem we're going to first do before we appreciate. So we had the Dalet before the Gimel at the beginning of the Torah. First we will do, and then we'll work on the back end stuff, the inner stuff, our understanding, appreciation. So this will help us understand the connection between the sacrifice of Pinchas and the Friedrich Rebbe, which is hinted to in their respective names. Pinchas was not the leader of the Jewish people. Moshe was. And he wasn't the one who would have to know who to instruct to go and do sacrifice. He wasn't the one who was leading the Jewish people and say, hey, you have to go and sacrifice. He was only a shliach, an emissary of Moshe Rabbeinu. He was the one who actually did it. And a shliach, someone who's an emissary of someone, has to mostly focus on the action, getting it done. The Pinchas is therefore numerically equivalent to Yitzchak, which is 4 times the name Ban, but Pinchas is about action. Pinchas is about the step number 4. Pinchas is about the dollar. Pinchas is about making it happen. He's not the leader. He doesn't have to understand what the mission is and how it's supposed to get done. His job is to get it done. And therefore, his gematria is 4 times Shem Ban, because he's about the 4th step, he's about the action. And to the contrary, when you're trying to get something done, and then someone says, well, why are you doing this anyways? It confuses the whole thing. There is a time to ask that question. But when you're in action mode, imagine the soldiers going out to battle and they're like, hey, why are we fighting this war in the first place? So asking that question would derail the whole mission. So going into Nishma, going into understanding and feeling and trying to figure out why you're doing it when you're already in doing mode is something that is actually counterproductive. So the Torah says that whenever you go out and do something, your final result, your soif ma'aseh, the final product, originates in your initial thought process. So, and not only does it originate in the initial thought process, in a way, the final result is far beyond what you could have thought about in the first place. The analogy Chassidus gives is about giving tzedakah. You get tzedakah because you feel benevolent, you feel merciful, you feel all these emotions about why this person deserves, why you want to give them this tzedakah. So you make this decision and then you put your hand out. That's as far as your thought was going to go. And you have pleasure from actually putting your hand out. When the guy actually receives his tzedakah, that creates a different kind of pleasure that you weren't expecting to get. That's the recipient of your tzedakah elicits something deeper in you that you didn't even know about. The soif ma'aseh, the final result, goes even deeper than your original plan. So, with Pinchas' Mesiras Nefesh, he reached, as you learned earlier in the Sikha, he reached a place that was beyond the regular order of Torah. The regular order of Torah, are you obligated to go and do this act of killing Zimri? Not really. But the sage is happy with what you're doing? Also not really. In fact, they want to excommunicate you if you do this. Pinchas knew, however, the real will of Hashem, the will of Hashem which wasn't in accordance to the regular order of Torah. And as a result, what Hashem gave him also, as we learned before, Hashem also gave him something beyond the regular order. There's no prize in the Torah. If you do this mitzvah, you become a kohen. It doesn't exist. It's not part of the order of Torah. But because Pinchas also wasn't fitting in a box, he just was in sync with the will of Hashem. Therefore, he also managed to channel the will of Hashem beyond what is the regular order of Torah. So this is the fourth. The reason why Pinchas' name is numerically equivalent to the name Ban times 4, because Pinchas is about how the final result of the actual deed that you do, which is in sync with the will of Hashem, reaches a deeper place, which is something higher. Pinchas' sacrifice reached beyond the order of things. And this is what Pinchas did. But in order to do anything, he had to first get instruction from Moshe Rabbeinu. He did come to Moshe Rabbeinu and say, what do I do? And Moshe Rabbeinu said, you read the letter, you have to do it. So Moshe Rabbeinu was the one who actually receives the Torah. And Pinchas, when he came to Moshe Rabbeinu, he said to Moshe, I have heard from you, we've received from you the following information. So Pinchas can't do anything without Moshe Rabbeinu first instructing him. So although we have Moshe Rabbeinu instructing Pinchas, Moshe Rabbeinu processing everything, but when Pinchas is in action mode, all of the nishma, all of the understanding and the feeling and the resolve and the discussion is not there anymore. We just have the mission. It's there, but it's hidden. It's not the what you're looking at. You're looking at a guy holding a spear and going to do the will of Hashem. You're not looking at there's a thought process and there was a communication about this and there was a memo. Hey, and and פינחס got this communication from Moshe Rabbeinu. What you felt is only there's a mission that has to get done. The instruction of Moshe Rabbeinu, why he said and what he said, isn't revealed. But by Moshe Rabbeinu himself, who is giving this mission, it says in the Torah, the Nasi hu HaKol. The Nasi is everything. The leader of the Jewish people has to have everything in a perfect way. He has to have both the mission, and he also has to have the why and the how and the what very fully. And therefore, the name of the Frierdiker Rebbe is both Yosef and Yitzchak. Yosef, which is numerical equivalent to 3 times the name Ban, which is about Nishma, the three parts of the energy of preparation for the deed, and Yitzchak, which is the actual deed. The previous Rebbe had to have both elements in himself because he had to lead the Jewish people. And we saw this in the Frierdiker Rebbe's life. He had sacrificed for Torah and Yiddishkeit for all kinds of Jews. He built mikvahs, he sent rabbis, he sent shaftim, he sent moil, and whatever was needed. He founded schools to teach children Aleph Beis. That was all the mission. He got everything done. You got to have a teacher here, you got to have a mikvah there. Everything was done. On the other hand, at the very same time, what was he doing? He was revealing and teaching the deepest things in Chassidus. He was happy. That's the idea of Nishma, the idea of Gimel. He was doing Nishma and Nas at the same time. On Shabbos, he's teaching this very deep discourse about, the highest levels beyond Atzilus. And on Sunday, he's instructing a new mikvah to be built in Kremenchuk. So the priest himself has both the Yosef and the Yitzchak. He has both the element of understanding and the deepest understanding, which is Yosef, and also Yitzchak getting it done. So this also explains the connection of the previous Rebbe's name to Piנחas and what it has to do with us. By the Frierdiker Rebbe's emissaries, he demanded from them that they should do what the Talmud says. The Talmud says, this world is like a wedding, grab and eat, grab and drink. That's the words of the Talmud. Grab and eat, grab and drink, which means the full text is this one that we are leaving from is like a wedding, grab and eat, grab and drink, which means that your focus has to be getting action done. The Rebbe Rashab said that in previous generations, you could say, this is my mission, this is what I do, this is what I don't do. You could think about what your specific role is and then try to focus only on your role. But at the end of the time of Berurim, at the end of the time right before the coming of Mashiach, things are a little bit more not as organized. What's Home Depot's advertiser? I see the slogan on the top of that shelf. How doers get more done. Yeah, the way doers get more done is by actually just being on action mode. So the Frierdiker Rebbe's instruction to his Chassidim was, so you know all the teachings of Chassidus by heart. All right, we need a mikvah right now, tomorrow, built in Kremenchuk. We need. Yes, you are capable of diving on a higher level, etc. But right now, there's a mission that's get done. There's a kidney stone Aleph Beis. So that's the element of Pinchas, of action. So what this means for us is, Rebbe says, we have to go out into the world and to affect Jews to keep their mitzvahs. Even someone which doesn't seem prepared for it. He's missing all the nishma. He's missing all the information about Torah and mitzvahs. And you who are trying to share this with this person, you're also missing all this preparation. You don't even know what you're doing. You're sharing Torah mitzvahs. You don't even know what you're doing in the first place. So, despite the fact that you're not ready and this guy's not ready, says the Rebbe, the focus in our time is nishma, getting it done. You have to have the bittul, to put yourself on the side for this other Jew. Just like Piנחas did. That he had sacrificed to do what Hashem wants to save the Jewish people. The Jewish people confused with his sin. He went and said, this has to get done. So you feel like, I'm not ready. I don't know enough yet. So the Rebbe said, don't think that. On the instruction of the previous Rebbe is to be like Piנחas. Piנחas is miracle equivalent to 4 times the name Ban. Our focus is number 4, action. More doers get it done by just focusing on what has to get done, nothing if they're ready or not. And on the other hand, in this itself, the main thing you're trying to affect the other person is to do something. You're not trying to get them to understand and feel and appreciate Judaism. Your role isn't in getting them into their gimels. Your role is in getting them into their dollars. Like the halacha is, if someone has all the thoughts about why they should say Shema, they don't actually say Shema, they haven't done a mitzvah. They think about the whole Kabbalistic reason, the meaning of Shema is nothing. Your goal is to go from your dollar to their dollar. Your goal is, I'm going to go reach out to this person to do a mitzvah. Especially because when we are at the end of the time of Galus, the end of the time right before the coming of Mashiach, there's no time to wait till this guy reaches a level of understanding and appreciation to Nishma. Mashiach is about to come. You have to use every moment to get stuff done. And even more, since you're doing this with the mission of the Rebbe, and the Rebbe has both the element of Yosef and the element of Yitzchak. He has the element of understanding and feeling. As Piנחas said, I'm doing this because Moshe, you told this to me. So therefore, when you go and influence another Jew, you have it. You have what's the word in English? Vicariously, maybe, I don't know. But you have something from the Nishma element there as well, because you're doing this because the Rebbe told you to do this, and the Rebbe does understand the deepest secrets of the Torah that are need to be that animate what's being done. And this is also the reason why Yitzchak is both. The letter Dal also means number 4. In other words, not only is Yitzchak one second. Oh, Yitzchak doesn't just mean the 4th. Yitzchak means 4. So you're going to do an action, you're not just doing getting something done, you're also incorporating what you're doing, all the deep Kabbalistic secrets of why this should be done. And through the Aveda of Pinchas, we merit to the coming of Mashiach, as it says in the Torah, that Pinchas has the same soul as Elijah. So that means by focusing on getting the action done of V'heisha Leivos Abanim, the last verse of the whole Tanakh is how children will bring their parents to do Shuvah. So this effort of bringing people to Shuvah in action will give us the Geula. The Geula is also associated with number 4. It says that there are 4 promises of the coming Mashiach. There are 4 cups of punishment that God will mete out to all those who were hurting Jewish people. And also there are 4 cups of comfort that God will give to Jewish people. So this is all in the merit of us doing the number 4 in ourselves, of focusing on the action. My cousin wrote this great book called Heaven on Earth. He explains the whole Kabbalistic reason behind the Rebbe's focus on the 10 mitzvah campaigns. And it's a great book, but even most people haven't read his book. And yet, most people are going out there and most Chassidim are going out and doing what the Rebbe says without knowing the whole meaning of why this is the Kol Hour right now, what it actually does. But there's a whole theological process to get to this result. There are 10 mitzvah campaigns. The Rebbe is saying doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to us what the reasoning and the logic is behind the mission. You got to focus on the mission, and there's something included in that by the Rebbe's instruction. So we answered our questions. We answered why Pinchas is merit equivalent to Yitzchak. That's the main focus of Pinchas, the action. And that was the main focus of the Rebbe. And also explain why it alludes to Yosef as well, because Yosef was the ancestor of Pinchas. In a similar way, the ancestor of what we do is, yes, indeed, Kabbalistic wisdom, but that's not our focus. Our focus is in Yitzchak and in the 4th, or rather the 4, because in our actions we also we're a byproduct of the Kabbalistic secrets that motivate our mission, and therefore we aren't just doing the 4th thing, which is the action. In our deeds, we're also drawing on to the deep meaning behind. All right. Any questions? Okay.